What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. There is a lot that needs to be talked about, so let's go. The first thing I want to talk about is about James Gunn, the guy who created Guardians of the Galaxy and made it so beautiful that everyone is waiting for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Well, unfortunately, that probably won't be happening with him because Disney has fired him after a right-wing media personality resurfaced a series of offensive tweets that Gunn made in cases from 2009 to 2010. And Walt Disney Studios chairman Alan Horn said in a statement to The Hollywood Reporter, the offensive attitudes and statements discovered on James's Twitter feed are indefensible and inconsistent with our values, and we have severed our business relationship with them. Now, as noted on Polygon, a conspiracy theorist, the guy who actually got James Gunn fired, Mike Cernovic, perhaps one of the most active promoters of the fake Pizzagate conspiracy theory, began resurfacing some of Gunn's old tweets dating back then in the decade. And in the tweets, Gunn made jokes about pedophilia and molestation. And in Pizzagate, right-wing media personalities like Cernovic pushed the idea that Hillary Clinton and many other members of the Democratic leadership were running a child molestation ring outside of a pizzeria in Washington, D.C. Why do we deal with stupid people? Seriously. And they promoted this absurd theory so fiercely that a man who brought into the theory opened fire in a pizzeria with an assault rifle. Now, Cernovic also has a theory of using old Twitter feeds to target outspoken progressive voices, and he did this. He did the same thing in 2017 as he launched a smear campaign over MSNBC contributor Sam Seder over a sarcastic tweet that Seder had posted regarding Roman Polanski back in 2009. Now, James Gunn has noted, he has been a vocal critic on Donald Trump and the GOP in general, making him a right target for someone like Cernovic to attempt to silence. Now, while Gunn's jokes in no way was to be inappropriate, nor was it to be kind of thing like Disney would want to be associated with, Cernovic association that proved that James Gunn himself is part of a pedophilia ring that which seemed to be kind of absurd with the whole Pizzagate accusations. Now, anyone who follows Gunn, knows that he's done a lot, doing low budget films and everything along the way, and writing movies like Romeo and Juliet, and working his way up top towards the whole, Hollywood studio system. And then he started doing movies like Scooby-Doo and everything else along the way, and he's got into the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then he wrote the first Guardians of the Galaxy, which was amazing. Now, when this came out and everything along the way, James Gunn went on Twitter on July 19th, and he told, he said a few things about this. He said, many people who have followed me know where I've started. I viewed myself as a provocateur, making movies and telling jokes that were outrageous and taboo. As I've discussed publicly many times, as I've developed as a person, so has my work and my humor. And he goes on so much more about it, and on the tweet and everything along the way. And when found out about this, people like Dave Bautista, who played Drax, Pat Oswalt, David Dastmalchian, I hope I said that last name correctly, but he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He's one of the good guys. He was one Scott Lang's friends. Even his own brother Sean Gunn, and many others have defended James Gunn, for this, saying, he has said this in the past, but we're actually looking towards the future. So you guys, shouldn't be dealing with all this kind of craziness or anything else along the way. You guys should just, he apologized. He's actually becoming a better person. As Sean Gunn said, he's actually becoming a better person writing these movies and putting a smile on people's faces. Now, Disney, if I'm not mistaken, you guys have also done racist films, and I know for a fact that you guys have, because there was a movie called Uncle Remus, back then. And funny thing, I actually have the vinyl for that. So as you can see, Uncle Remus, there's so much on there for Uncle Remus and everything along the way. So What I'm trying to say, Disney, is y'all need to bring James Gunn back because he is a great director and so much more. The second thing I want to talk about is, if you guys don't know about this accident, this happened in Missouri. This is a Missouri duck boat accident. And the last photo, 11 members of the Coleman family are shown smiling and posing with a life preserver just before they boarded a duck boat in Branson, Missouri for a voyage, and only 2 of them have survived. Now, in the picture, you can see Tia Coleman holding her 1-year-old daughter, and standing next to her is her 76-year-old uncle. Her husband Glenn rests his hands on the shoulders of their nephew, and his arms are around their cousin. Now, Glenn's parents are standing right next to the group picture, while their 7-year-old, his aunt, and their 2 little cousins are in the photo as well. Now, this cheery snapshot was supposed to be like a vacation souvenir, a vivid memory of a summer spent together. Now, it is all that Tia Coleman and her nephew have to remember their last moments spending with their family before they died. Now, shortly after the photo was taken, on Thursday afternoon, the family embarked on a ride called Ride the Ducks tour at the Table Rock Lake near Branson, a scheduled 70-minute adventure that turned into a nightmare, with a fierce storm suddenly struck at the boat, and they were baffled by guests that were up to 73 miles per hour and capsized by waves that were up to 6 feet, officials said. Now, the Colemans, who came from Indianapolis, were among 31 people, including 2 crewmen aboard the vessel. And because of this vessel, 17 people have died in this vessel. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the incident and trying to determine what doomed to be dubbed as the Stretch Duck 7. Now, Coleman said, while they were on the boat, the captain told them to not worry about collecting the life vests or anything along the way. She said, "You don't need them," she recalled, and him saying, so nobody grabbed a life vest. And however, when they had the chance to grab them, it was too late, Coleman continued. And she believed that a lot of people could have been spared. And during an emotional press conference on Sunday, Coleman talked about what she can remember and everything else along the way, and how she survived. There's so much to when I watched it, there was so much to deal with. I'm not going say anything about it, but if you guys want to watch the video, feel free to. My thoughts and prayers are out to her and her family, and so much. It's just so much to unbear. You go on a family vacation, and all of a sudden this happens, and you don't know what happens afterwards. The last thing I want to talk about is 4 years ago in 2014. If you guys don't know Eric Garner, he was killed by the New York police, and he was basically saying, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe," and police, they're saying like there were no charges or anything along the way. Well, the New York Police Department has laid its first administratively charges against one of the officers involved in that death. And Officer Daniel Pantaleo was charged on Friday with violating department protocols, as NYPD spokesperson told BuzzFeed News. Now, the spokesperson declined to provide further information, citing legal limits on what sort of information they can release. Now, the case was heard before the Civilian Complaint Review Board and not a criminal court. A city medical examiner declared the death as a homicide, but a Staten Island grand jury in December of 2014 declined to bring any criminal charges against Pantaleo. And a decision that set off a wave of national protests. And for years, the NYPD have held off bringing up any disciplinary charges of the officers involved, citing the need for officials within the Department of Justice to decide any federal charges on this. But they said they were given the go-ahead to press charges against the officer and everything else, and they have yet to make the final determination. Now, Pantaleo was filmed in July 2014 using a chokehold to subdue Garner after he was stopped for selling untaxed cigarettes. He was placed on desk duties ever since. Now, the officer said that he didn't he didn't display a chokehold or anything, but rather a wrestling move, arguing that his arms moved around the man's neck during the struggle. And his lawyer, Pantaleo's a lawyer, Stuart London, told the New York Times that he said, my client looks forward to being vindicted at trial. And another officer, Sergeant Kizzy Adeni, is also expected to face, departmental charges. And this is basically 4 years, you guys, after this happened. Nothing happened, but now this is going on, everything going away, and it's kind of ridiculous to even hear about this. They should have done something the moment that this happened, but yet our system, our justice system is just corrupted horribly in so many ways. And on Tuesday it marks 4 years since his death, and his daughter Erica, who became an active against police brutality after her father's death, passed away in December from a heart attack, and she was only 27 years old. Like I always say, there is a lot that we have to deal with, and there's a lot that we need to change in our nation and so much around this world. And you have to you have to raise your voice and tell people what you want to say, and that's what I do all the time. I'm not afraid to be someone who's out there saying, hey, we don't need to be doing this, we need to do this the right way and everything else along the way. And with that being said, I want your opinion on, the whole cops in the Eric Garner case, the Missouri duck boat case, James Gunn, anything else that's on your mind that you want to tell me that I should know about. Like, share, comment, subscribe, but know I'm out there for you guys, because I'm actually always out there for you guys. No matter what, I'm always out there trying to get the information out there for you guys, make sure it's correct and everything else on the way. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I love all you guys. Peace out.